hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa, I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Well, I'll be lonely forever. Is your silence just a deadly sound? Got to get it now. 'Cause I'm falling to my knees right now. Somebody save my, save my, save my soul. Don't wanna run to ever feel so lonely forever. I've been searching for your heartbeat.
You haven't seen, but I'm muted. Everyone, we're all good. Are we all good?
Yeah, I
I'm
can hear you.
muted. Yeah, there we go. Technical difficulties. Another week, another thing goes wrong for me. You got to love it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Mark Interviews. What you didn't see behind the scenes was me and Andre actually dancing to every music that was played during that entrance. We were going for it. But welcome. We were going for it, I tell you. But welcome, ladies
Well,
and gentlemen, to
That
Yeah,
on-lap
go on.
song slaps. I mean, I started using their music in one of my intro videos because I love that band so much.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And do you know what? The opening one that we have, I don't know where I found it, but I found it, and I like the loop one that we first did. But we are here, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Mark Interviews. And in today's episode, we have come from Astrid. Astrid did such an exceptional job last week. Thank you ever so much. Let's do the Astrid pose all together. There we go. There's your clip for you and your shot there, Astrid, if you're here. Yes, and Ed is absolutely right by what he's just commented. Mark is such a train wreck. It is completely true. And I've got my Deadpool and new Wolverine top that I got for my birthday. And if it goes by anything, you're going to want to watch if it's exactly like how that intro started. But from leading on from the very first interview that we did with Astrid Pizarro, we are carrying on today with a guy that I have wanted to interview / work with for a very long time. We've done a couple bits and pieces here before, but I have finally got him on a time where it's not our birthdays, because your birthday was Saturday, my birthday was Sunday, and we've decided that Monday we're going to have a joint / chat about life and everything else here today. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can give a very warm welcome to the one, the only, the Japanese king himself, and unfortunately likes Will Ospreay, but we'll let him off for this one. It is Andre C. Thank you ever so much for coming and joining him.
I'm so happy to be here, dude. I've been looking forward to this since you first asked me to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm down. But I think what's but I'm thinking to myself, what is interesting about me? That's what I've been able to think this whole time.
You're enigma, all right? And I can honestly say this: you're one of those people that I watch, and I'm like, he knows everything. And then I've met you, and then you're one of the funniest people, and you have to put up with Ed, which makes it even better. That you have to put up with him as well. I'm waiting for the comment.
Working with Ed was my choice. He said, "Hey, do you want to do this with me?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want to do this with you." I said I wanted to do Marvel Talk with him. That's what most people don't realize. I wanted to work with Ed.
You've gone a little bit lower down in my estimation there, Andre. A little bit lower down there because of Ed. I tell you. No, we've got a few comments here before we get into the very first question, and before we get into it, we have got one question here from our local establishment themselves. I presume this is Bobby. I'm going to guess this is Bobby because unless he's unless someone, I've done it by accident because I'm currently on it. But thank you ever so much for coming. And then we've got another question. Oh God, he's back again. No joints on stream. Okay, Ed, I'm deciding to hide you now for a while. So, right, first question. Welcome.
It is Bobby.
It is Bobby. It is. We finally know who it is. It is the one and only. It is Bobby. So that's even better. Right. So we're going to get into the first question here, and we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about. We're going to go on an emotional roller coaster, I think, in today's episode. So the first question is for you about mental health. We're going to ask this with every single guest we've got coming on. All guests are booked in for the rest of the time that I'm doing this, which is absolutely fantastic. But the first question for you is, how is your mental health? Is the first one, and how are you doing?
It's a daily grind. I feel like I'm doing well right now. I'm in a fairly good place. I was struggling a little earlier this year when I was out of work. I'd lost my job and everything. I got a new job. And I'm quite happy there. And now, again, everything's been going very well podcast wise. And I'm stressed because right now I'm in the middle of 2 tournaments covering for my channel. But it's the good kind of stress, the stuff that I enjoy. So, and I struggled a couple of years ago and lost my paw and everything. But I think I've bounced back pretty well with mental health, everything, because it can be a struggle. But it's trying to make sure you check in on yourself every day, and I try to check in on myself, learning to meditate, I guess, if you want to say, using a meditation app and everything now, just trying to keep myself going in a good path.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask you, because one of the things that I do as like an outlet for my mental health is when I record my videos for my channels. It becomes like I sort of take my brain out of my head and I put it in a side, and I put the creative side that I feel like I have in, and then I concentrate on doing my WWE 2K24 videos along with my gaming channel and my football channel. What is it for you, would you say, is something that you go, is you sort of, is it something that's a release for you? Is there something that you do to try and help yourself throughout daily? I know you said you have like the meditation. Is there other things that you do as well?
Yeah, like for me, like my releases, like gaming is a big thing for me. It lets me just kind of escape the world and just play it. Just like him, I've been playing. My escape lately has been Mass Effect and Pokemon Sword and Shield. I've been replaying those ones. They've been my escape lately. But no, again, escapes for me is like getting out the live wrestling shows and doing that and enjoying that, and like getting to see my friends, getting to interact with people, doing that. That's kind of my escapes. And again, yeah, I've been using an app. I downloaded an app a couple months ago called Balance, and that's been it's simple, easy, like 5 to 10 minute before I go to bed. Just lay there and just listen and just calming myself to help me kind of focus in. Again, another thing is just doing the graphic work and kind of stuff for Mine and Melball stuff, like building the thumbnails, things like that just puts me in such a good mood because it's allowing myself to be creative in how I build just a basic ass thumbnail, but it's getting finding all the graphics and doing it's those weird little things that kind of put you in just a weird moment of peace.
Yeah, because I think if we talk about the graphic designs and everything like that, I think the first time me and you had a proper conversation, or not online, but messaging each other, was back in January time. I reached out to everyone in OLE when they asked me to be a part of it, saying, is there anything you guys need? And me and you had a conversation about doing the Japanese thumbnails. And I have to say, which is going to hurt my ego a lot, by the way. And if you know me, you know my ego is the mainstay of my life. Is that you've done a much better job than what I bloody did for you guys. So so with like doing the thumbnails and doing stuff like that, how does that make when you sit down? Because I know how it makes me feel when I do it. But what is your sense of how do you sort of think about what you're looking to do and how you do it? What is your creative mind sort of telling you of how to zone in on the audience and how you want it to look?
Again, like I for like especially like right now, especially with the G1, we're covering. Me and Mel each pick 2 matches, or each pick a match per show. All right, and we're reviewing 2 to 3. Actually, we just did one that had 4 shows at one time. And I just in those shows I try to say, okay, who are the matches that we had featured, and who were the wrestlers that maybe came up a couple times, and put them on there, and people featured who had some of the best matches, put them on there. Same with in Stardom and Marigold, who had some of the best matches on the night, who were we raving about on the show, that it translates. We put that person kind of dead center, and then maybe title matches as you move out, those kind of things is what I kind of think of. I just did one for my interview with Kamikaze I just recently did, but I just for me, it was scrolling through his Instagram, just trying to find the most interesting pictures. Like, I've got a couple of like basic profiles, then I got one him like head banging on the top rope, and his his braids are going everywhere. I got a couple of him flying through the air, so it's like captures of him up on top flying through. So I kind of look for that kind of thing. How does it frame into there, and just to frame everything together in the right way. Yeah.
Perfect. Before we move on and go any further, we've got a couple of comments here. One from Papa Smokes. How you doing, sir? Hope you're all right, my man.
Sir? What's up, sir?
You are. By the way, Bobby should have messaged you. I'm going to say this live now about coming on and doing one of these. So make sure you reach out to myself, and we will get you booked in as well. And then, why does he talk?
I don't know.
To be fair, he's not wrong, but why does he talk? He always comes in with something, doesn't he? Always has to pipe up.
He always has to be the funny guy, doesn't he?
Yes, always. We're gonna get into
the funny guy.
I didn't say that, Ed. I love you. He said it.
I did.
He did. We're gonna get into comics. We're going to discuss a little bit about comics. We'll leave Ed talking about Marvel Talk just for a little bit. What started with you getting into comics? Let's go with that question first. What was the thing that hooked you into the comic book scene?
Well, again, I think as a little kid, I got into reading Archie comics and stuff. You just it's those colorful books in the grocery store when you're standing in line with your parents, right? So I started reading those, and then I found, and then as you get a little older, I got to my preteen, like my 10, 11, 12 years old years. You kind of just, I was watching Batman on TV, watching the Batman TV series, Spider-Man, all that, like those Fox Kids shows and those shows that happened in the 90s, and knowing those, and then saying, hey, where did this all come from? And then finding it's all coming from comic books. So that's where my kind of entered, was the 90s TV shows, the cartoons, and that 60s Batman show that was on every day at some time of the day. And then just kind of wanting to know where it all comes from. And that's, you start reading the comics, you start collecting. I wasn't a big collector. I would get odd comics here and there early on. But I built the collection up over my life for a while, and would get rid of it, then buy a new collection over time. But yeah, it was I would say the 90s cartoons are what kind of really got me to get into comics.
Okay, so this is going to be a two-part question. One, what is your favorite comic book? The one that you've read that you will go back and read whenever you want to. And the second part of that is, what is your favorite comic book movie? We'll go with top 5 in a little bit. We'll do a Mount Rushmore in a little bit. But what is that comic book that you would say you go, I will read that. You could read that every single day of your life.
Okay, it's a tie, and it's two. It's two runs. Kevin Smith's Green Arrow run back in the 2000s. I will reread that a million times. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, and that I will read his run. I think he did it so well. And then the Superior Spider-Man run, where Doc Ock had taken over the body of Peter Parker. And that was like 30 some issues, I think. That run, I love that story, just of Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body trying to be a good guy. That's a more like recent one. That's from early 2010s. I love those two. Those two separate arcs in comic books are great, and I can reread them at any time. Like, they're just so good to me. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with comic book movie. Let's go with which one would you say? We'll do top five in a minute, and we'll do that soon. But I want to go. We're going to split the top five into a little bit. So, what is the one that you would say you could go and it's like your comfort film? You would say in the comic universe.
Okay, it's not my overall like and this isn't my. We're currently going through listing or making our list. It's not number one on my list, but my comfort comic book movie is Iron Man, the original. What started all the MCU. It's just Downey Jr. is just so good in that performance. Jeff Bridges is just an amazing bad guy. Everybody surrounding him, even Gwyneth Paltrow or not whatever they're who has Pepper Potts. Yeah, it's Gwen.
Yeah, it's Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah.
Yeah, even her. I gotta admit, she's good. She's good in that movie. I don't like her in much, but she was good in that. She's good in the Iron Man movies, and just I don't know. It's just that overall comfort movie. I can put it on at any point, any day, any time, and it's that comfort movie I can watch at any point.
Perfect. Right. Before we get into that, Ed has said, "Don't make me leave my work desk and go to my podcast desk." Ed, you're a plonker, and I love you.
We love you, buddy.
So, what I'm going to ask you now is your top 5 Marvel superheroes.
Superheroes. Okay.
Or
Marvel.
Top 5 Marvel superheroes or villains, whatever tickles your fancy.
I know it's I'll say number 5 is probably Iron Man. Just comics, all of it, just so good. Number 4, probably put in Venom because it's just one of the coolest characters. Number 3, Hawkeye. I find, especially the Mad Fraction run, well, it just took him in such a cool direction, and Jeremy Renner has done great things with him as a character in the movies. Number 2, probably Doctor Doom. If you're looking at the comic books, not quite the movies right now, but he's done so much good stuff in the comics. And then number 1, it's just I think it's most people's answer. It's Spider-Man. He's just. When it comes to Marvel, he is the Marvel poster boy in comic book. And again, like it's what got me into Marvel in the 90s.
Surprised you didn't say Deadpool there. Surprised Deadpool was.
Deadpool's fun, but I enjoyed Deadpool a lot. But again, I was never a huge I liked Deadpool, but it was never like if you really think about him, he's only really risen in popularity in the last 10 to 15 years, even though he's been around a lot longer. Well, not even that. Even before Ryan, though, his popularity kind of skyrocketed in the 2000s. But I still wasn't completely sold on him until after the movies came out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Ryan Reynolds showing every man just how beautiful that man really is. Right, next question with the top 5 as well. I'm going to ask this time: DC Comics top 5 heroes or villains.
Number 5, Speedy, Roy Harper. I love that character. Number 4, Tim Drake Robin, or whichever version of his character that would come on. I love the Tim Drake character. Number 3, Dick Grayson's Nightwing. Number 2, the Joker, and number 1, Green Arrow.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and I will say Green Arrow. I love the Arrow TV show. I think ML is I love that man as an actor. But I again, Kevin Smith was a big point of me becoming such a fan of that character of his run on Green Arrow.
That was a great TV show.
Bringing the character, the TV show did so well. I cannot wait for him on. I cannot wait for Suits LA with Stephen Amell.
Is he in Suits?
He's in the new Suits spinoff called Suits LA that's coming out next little while.
Right, we're gonna have to. I love Suits. I love Harvey Specter. I love the whole thing of that.
Such a great show. Loved it. Oh, such a great show.
Oh, that is such a great show. It went a little bit downhill after Meghan Markle decided to go and marry Prince Harry, but we will let her off because you don't marry a royal every so often. So we're going to move on from Meghan Markle because I know I'll get in trouble for what I've got to say. And we're going to talk about your weight loss journey. I see on X, and I see that you're doing wonderful things with how you're doing and what you're going on. So the first question before we get into all of that is, what prompted you to go on this weight loss journey? What was the trigger or the something that got you to think, right, time's now?
Well, a few years ago, I started kind of wanting to get myself in better shape just a little before the pandemic. It was just not being comfortable in a lot of situations and being uncomfortable in a lot of places. Just being as a big guy, you don't really fit. And I know you know the struggle, and I started to work out, and then pandemic hit. So I kind of fell off because gyms closed, things like that. And then over the couple of years, I started to go back and do it again, but I would fall off every time. And then my dad passed away in 2022, and I kind of fell into a depression mode, and I stopped working out. I let myself kind of go there. And then I started getting back into it at the end of 2022, started 2023, and I was working out on my own, but I was finding like I was doing okay, but I wasn't finding a lot of consistency in a lot of it I was doing. And I thought I would fall off for a bit and I would come back and I would fall off for a bit. And then I was getting ready to be in my buddy's wedding. I was his best man, and I had to go to the Big and Tall store to buy my suit because, again, I'm not a tall man, but I'm a big man. And I looked and I thought about the pricing between a suit that would cost, if I was a guy that was like a XL 2XL guy, and what I was paying for my suit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it was that kind of unlock, and that's what I ended up. I was talking to Rich King a little while before that, but we hadn't set anything in stone. We've been talking for about 7 months at that point. And then I finally said, I have the money. I'm going to start working out with Rich King. And that's where I think I've seen the biggest loss. I've seen the biggest gains in my strength, in my endurance, the biggest loss on myself. Was when I started working out with him last year in, I want to say it was late September, early October somewhere. And then, we've taken the summer off, but I'll be heading back to work with him again in the fall. But it's the most consistent I've ever been working out in my life. There's been a couple patches where I was struggling, but I feel it's just wanting to make myself better, wanting to feel more comfortable in my skin, wanting to feel better about myself in general. I don't care. I honestly don't care what other people see when they look at me. Like if they think I don't really care. It's more about how I feel like I'm feeling about how I look, how I feel about I'm sitting in a chair. How do I feel? Because I can't sit in every chair because they're too tight for me and things like that. Those are the things those are my goals. Like I don't care what the number is on my weight. I just want to feel comfortable in life. And that's what kind of really pushed me to do it and really kept me going in this last while.
That is amazing to hear. And I want to just say, hope you're okay with your father. I didn't know that. And sorry for your loss. So,
all good. Yeah.
But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, I dealt with a lot of that. Like I said, when I'm in my mental health, losing my dad, and 2022 was a hard year for me after losing him. So, and getting back in the gym in late 2022 really helped me because he was a big encouragement for me before he was he was very proud of me when I was doing it all in 2020 and 2021 when I was really hitting the gym hard. Again, that I dealt with a lot of that mental health stuff then, and getting back in the gym really did help me get to a better place mentally too. That's the other thing is I feel the days when I go and work out are the days I feel the most clear and level-headed that I can feel.
Yeah, and I presume, as you say, when you go to the gym, that's probably a release for you from your brain, your mind to get it away. But we're going to have a quick go over here. We've just had a comment from Bobby. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I've seen you.
Hey, Bobby.
When I'm on, and you were there Sunday when me and Bobby did our predictions for the Premier League season. So I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope everything's going okay. But with your weight loss journey has inspired me, because now I'm going on a weight loss journey. I will say I've taken some sort of a break over the past few days because it was my wife's birthday and my birthday, and I have a massive chocolate cake out there that was my birthday cake. That might be demolished over the next few days because I'm still a fat man at heart, and I'm still a fat man. So watching how you're going through your journey, I will say, has inspired me to go on my weight loss journey as well. So I want you to know that what you're doing is brilliant. The way you're doing about it is great, and keep up with it because you're doing amazing stuff with that as well. So please,
thank you, brother.
carry on.
And big shout out to Rich King, because like without him, I don't think I would have ever made the strides that I've made in so long. Because like, well, yeah, I know I pay him to do this, but he's been a friend for years, and he's been nothing but encouraging in every aspect, and he's so supportive in it all. So like, if y'all are in the Edmonton area or you want online training, contact Rich King. He is so good as a motivator and just encouragement to be better. I highly recommend RK Athletics. Like I know we're not getting anything from them. I have done so well with him that I highly recommend if you need that help. He's a great help.
Perfect. So if he wants to PayPal us the money for promoting him, that'd be amazing as well. I'm joking, by the way. He didn't say anything. Just before I get into trouble with that kind of joke. Right, we're going to get into ice hockey now. You're going to be talking to an absolute idiot coming to ice hockey. The only ice hockey that I've ever watched was one. I could tell you what it was. It was the Mighty Ducks film. That was the ice hockey it was. So I did a little bit of research on you, and I found out that you are a Montreal Canadiens fan, right?
Yep.
And you've won the Stanley Cup 24 times.
Yes, I've only been alive, and I was only alive for one of them. And
yes.
I don't even remember that cup because I was 5 years old in '93. I turned 6 after we won the cup. I don't even remember that cup win, which is sad.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that. So, did you know? You probably know this, but the people at home may not know this. But the Montreal Canadiens are the oldest operating professional ice hockey team in the world. Now, the first question I have for you is, one, how did you get into ice hockey? And two, what got you supporting this team?
Being born is what got me into ice hockey and
I was going to say,
this
is it a Canadian thing?
No, it's my father. My father grew up in just outside of Montreal, and my grandfather took him and my uncle and them out to games constantly. They grew up just outside. They were huge fans growing up, and so when I was born, I became a Montreal Canadiens fan. You know, my dad put me in Montreal Canadiens gear, and it just became my life. And I became a Patrick Waugh fan because he was a hell of a goaltender. And for a few years, I became a Colorado Avalanche fan when Patrick played for them from '95 to 02, 03, I think. But when he retired, I stopped being a Colorado Avalanche fan. Well, I was still a Canadiens fan through and through all that time, but I could not cheer for my hockey hero in Patrick Waugh.
So, with you born a Montreal Canadian fan, is it a Canadian thing for you? Because the stereotype outside of Canada for everyone else, including a Brit, is you wake up, you're born, the second day you're born, there's ice hockey skates on your feet. That's basically how we look at. Is that the same type of thing as what it was for you? And how old do you remember the first game that you went to?
Oh, geez. First game. Okay. I'm not good at skating. I'm one of those freak Canadians that just is not good. I can skate, but I'm like just skating along. Like I'm the guy at the couple skate, like say, who keeps falling down in the movies. I'm that guy. I am not a good skater, but my earliest memory, Me and my dad were in Calgary. We were living in Calgary at the time. My dad was in the military. He got posted around, and we went to a Montreal Canadiens versus the Calgary Flames hockey game, and we were sitting up in the nosebleeds. And this is back 93, 94. So, like, now when a team, like, if Montreal's coming to town, it's their only game of the year coming to Edmonton. So that game is sold out. Back then, there was few more trips, and hockey wasn't as expensive back then. We're sitting in nosebleeds, and behind us was the GM and I can't remember the other guy. It was Ray-Jean Houle and Mr. Corey were sitting behind us. They were executives for the Canadiens at the time, and my dad started talking to them, and they took my hat and went down and got it signed. We lost that hat during a move, but I wish I still had that hat because Patrick Roy signed that hat for me. And yeah, but that's probably my earliest hockey memory is being at that game with my dad and getting that hat signed by Pat. Didn't get to meet him, but because my dad was trying to get him to let us come down and meet the team, but didn't get that. But I got my hat signed, and yeah, it was. That's my earliest like true memory of hockey.
Mm-hmm. So the last time the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup was the 1992-1993 season. The question I have for you regarding that is, yes, I had to Google this, by the way. I do not know nothing about ice hockey. I will fully admit this now. No, nothing. I know Stanley Cup, and I know when the finals are on. It's too late in the morning or at night for me to watch it. So for you, what has gone wrong from that time then to now for you guys not to really be Stanley Cup winners?
Well, if you believe some people, it's a conspiracy, but I don't because I'm a realist. No, it's just again, you look at because Montreal Canadiens are the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in 1993. We haven't won a cup in 31 years. Edmonton has come close twice. Calgary's come close. Montreal came close in that weird abbreviated Canadian division season where we had divisions. You only played certain teams all year long. But no, we had it's just it's expansion of hockey and teams getting better and better. And it's I think it's just the quality of hockey has risen so much that Montreal also won most of their Stanley Cups in an era of 6 teams. So now that we have the 32-team league, being there's only 7 Canadian teams in total, it's a lot harder to win it. And I think the teams, so many teams have so many superstars, so many places that it's been hard for like Montreal is. I love this team so much, but there is a fault in the culture of the city in the fact that they want a French-speaking coach, a French-speaking general manager. They want all these people to speak French, where it's like people don't want to go. So you don't always get the best GM. You don't always get the best coach in that sense. And they want their players to learn French, but some of these guys are fluent in Russian. It's like them just to learn English alone is a struggle. And it's like, dude, leave it alone. You don't need to. If you want the best, you want the best of the best to be there. They might not speak French. I'm sorry. Get a translator to translate for them, because if you want the best and to be the best again, you need to stop being a-holes.
Yeah. So you are in the Eastern Conference with the Bruins, the Hurricanes. Yes, I have Googled this while we were talking, and yes, I do have it next to me. It's not like I know this off the top of my head. Fully behind it. The Penguins and the Maple Leafs. What would you give your chances of your team this upcoming season when it starts? Okay. No.
We're gonna be like second or. We're probably going to be second to third last in our division. We're going to be down at the bottom. We're going to be contending for another high-end draft pick at the end of the year. Again, I have hope, but again, we have a lot of goaltending issues. We have some decent goaltenders now, but nobody's like that level we need yet. And just it's a big problem for the team. Defense is still questionable. Even our front end, we have some great players. It's just nobody's that kind of star you need to lead your team around, especially playing in a league that has the Carolina Hurricanes, the Boston Bruins, and the Toronto Maple Leafs in it, and even the Pittsburgh Penguins just after them, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a tough division to be playing in right now in hockey.
Okay, so we had a little comment here from Bobby saying, doing well. I hope you're good. That's what I like to hear, my man. It was a little while after you asked that question, literally 10 minutes. But we have got the one, the only, the Queen herself, who was here last week, a week and a bit ago now, for her interview. She has joined us here today as well. Hope you're doing well, Astrid. Lovely to see you here. Hope you're doing well. Right, we're going to go, before we get into OLE Asks, which is a section of the show where I go round to some of the members of the OLE community that we have, and I ask them to send in questions and how they feel about you. But before we get into that,
God. I can't wait to hear what Ed thinks about me. Jesus.
So there is one that I know for a fact I'm going to struggle with, and that see, struggling to say already. That is Melbourne, because that woman has written an essay, and I'm dyslexic, and I can't read very well. So this could be a lot of fun for everyone watching. You're already in for this.
Let's go.
Told us that she is listening while driving home. I hope you haven't used your phone while driving, because that would mean that you've actually done it. So please do not drive safely. Don't drink and drive, and don't text and drive. I don't know where drink and drive come from. That's just the first thing that popped into my head. Anyway, moving on from my shenanigans of talking a load of bollocks for the past 30 seconds.
Well, if you know Astrid's job, that's actually a good thing to say, because she works with alcohol. So
yeah. Be good. When the fun stops, stop. It's a saying over here. Question for you. We know that you're a Canadian. Ice hockey is your thing over there. What other sports is there that you like? We had a little conversation about this before we went live, but what other sports piques your interest? Are you into, and what do you like?
I'm an NFL football fan. I got into it in the mid 2010s. I was playing Madden forever. But I play the game long before I ever started watching the sport, which is very odd. But then I got into started watching football in the mid 2010s. Sadly became an Arizona Cardinals fan. I still to this day don't know why. Got into the Jacksonville Jaguars when Tony Khan created AEW. Just like the mark that I am. Got into that team, so I can't hate on them too much, because that's probably the sport I watch most now is football. Hockey's become kind of secondary to football now, at least during football season, anyways. And the fact that my team sucks every year in hockey, that's the hard part. And then
so you were moaning about your team sucking. So then you become an Arizona Cardinals fan who sucks.
And they suck.
And then the Jaguars, who did well for 1 year and suck.
They suck.
So I'm predicting that whoever team you support, I'm going to bet on the other one. Betting, I'm going to bet on the other one.
Well, and the last bunch of years, I've got into playing like fantasy football with with coworkers and things like that. So that has given me another aspect of watching games. I don't even have teams that I don't regularly watch, but watching games for players and everything. So that's given me another point there. So that's probably another reason why I got so into football. The other sport I watch that I love and I still watch to this day is curling. If you know what that is.
I do know what that is. I've watched the Winter Olympics. That when they push and then they have the brush and they go that shit in front of it to try and get it into the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to curl in high school. I joined the local rink in high school, curled for a few years with a buddy of mine. We played together for I think it was 3 years, and then I curled one more year without him once he kind of aged out of the junior bracket. I still watch to this day. I haven't gone to a bonspiel in a lot of years. But my dad used to take trips. You go to Bonnieville for a bonspiel that would happen every year. We used to do that trip every now and again. Big bonspiel that had some big teams come through, and we would watch there. And yeah, it was a good time. So we ended up. I was I still love curling to this day. There's so many new young players that I'm like, man, I feel old because like where are all my old school teams, and there's like very few of those guys left. And you're just like, man, I feel old now watching curling.
We've had a couple of comments here now from Astrid, who says, "No, I'm using it on my red light." Lagoon memory, Andre. I work around alcohol, but I don't drink. You would not fit in well here in England because if you work in alcohol, you're an alcoholic over here. I tell you, we're a bunch of pissheads over here, and proud of it somehow. And then Ed's put 2 filthy marks. And then
and by the way, speaking of the Canadians, I got my bottles going right here.
Exactly. So we're going to get into early questions now. Now, if you're watching this at home, I'm going to turn my head this way. The reason for that is because I'm a Pelonka, and my notes that I've written, which is on my big screen, which is over this way. So if you're watching this, I do apologize if you're about to see the beautiful side of my face. If you're listening to this, lucky for you. So the first question we have, actually, I've got music that I only played once really last time, and it didn't really go that very long. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to play it now on loop because I can. Bit of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music. Is that a good volume for you there?
Bring it down just a little bit. There we go.
There we go. Right. So the first question we've got here is Lauren Goodnight. And this is not about anything. She just put, who is your journalistic inspiration? Not the person who got you into it. Who was the person that you, when you were younger, you saw someone and you went, they're great at their job?
And this is going to sound, because I started listening to him through Live Audio Wrestling. It's John Pollock. I think that dude, and everything he did for Live Audio Wrestling, what he does now for Post Wrestling, and all the work that he does reporting, I think he's so good. He's the one I can't, like, he's number one for me. He's been a voice I've been listening to for a decade and a half, if not more. And I find his work through Post Wrestling so good. And even and with association with him, Wei Ting, his partner in Post Wrestling, I think but John Pollock he's the wrestling journalist that because again, I default to wrestling journalism because real journalism, it's there, but it's John Pollock from Post Wrestling.
Okay, so the next question we've got is from, we're going to go through what he thinks of you first. And this is from Bobby Money Munson. He's put, what I would like to say to Andre. I've really started to get to know Andre more and more with his work here in 2024. Andre is always a delight to share the screen with, on and off. I've seen him grow in a creative powerhouse recently, with heavily involved with on-screen and off-screen for OLE. It's a real honor to have Andre as a fellow contributor, but more importantly, as a friend. That is from Bobby Money Munson, and his question is for you. If there's what, by the way, I have just seen a theme, Bobby. If you're watching this, you do have the same theme for every question you've asked so far. I'm just saying. If there is one person throughout history you would like to sit down and talk to, who would it be and why?
Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be wrestling related, right?
Nope.
Oh. Okay, can I give 2 answers here? One
You're
for
being
more
very selfish with the answers here today.
Well, just one is very, very personal, and one is very aspirational.
Yeah,
my personal one would be my grandfather. I never met him. My dad's side, he died a few months before I was born. So if I could talk, if anybody in this world I could talk to, that'd be the man. Just to know, just to have a conversation with them, man. And then aspirational, it would actually be to sit down and have a conversation with Kevin Smith.
Okay, next one. So those are the ones that you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip the next one because I'm going to leave that person to last, and I'm going to go with the next one. Is from your Marvel Talk co-host himself. It's from
Oh God.
Ed. So I'm going to leave his questions to last. but I'm going to say what he would like to say to you. Andre, thank you for stepping up and being my other tag partner. I love working on everything Marvel with you. I thank God Marvel is back on the upswing. Let's hope that Marvel Talk works more and more as we go and we keep moving, having fun and yapping about it. So that is from good old Edward for you. His question
you,
is here. I asked Ed one question. The Plonker gave me two. So the question is for you. Why do you enjoy being an advocate for Japanese wrestling so much? And the second part to that question is, there's two here. Do you ever feel like it's hard to make content when New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom does so many tournaments, meaning you have to cover multiple shows at once? Multiple shows at once. That says it all. That face says it all.
Oh, dude, yeah. To the second question, yeah, it's tough because like right now I'm watching. I watch Saturday's G1. Saturdays 5-star, Sundays 5-star. Today's G1, today's 2 5-star shows. So there's so much. The one thing about Stardom is a lot of this shit comes out like 3 days later, so we kind of just plump that in when we can because it's just they're always on delay dropping it. But why is it? Because I don't know. I got into Japanese wrestling in the mid 2010s. I've been watching it through clips and random matches through YouTube and just finding random stuff online for years. But I really got into it, I think it was the year Wrestle Kingdom 9, I want to say, when Global Force teamed up and they had the pay-per-view over here and we could actually watch it on pay-per-view in English. That was my first watching Wrestle Kingdom live ever. Watching that show was my first really watching Japanese wrestling live, and that's when I really started following. Then a year or two later, New Japan World hit online, and I got access to that as early as I could, and it's just been the quality of wrestling, the dynamics of it, the stories of it. I find insanely intriguing, and it's now becoming a feeder system to NXT, so I don't know if I like that, but...
Thank you, Japanese wrestling. So, that was the question here. We have got another one here from Astrid, and she has put, thank you for always bringing such fun energy to the shows. And her question for you is, what inspired you to start podcasting in general? What is the hope for the future in podcasting?
So, what inspired me to start podcasting is 3 simple little words: Mike the Ref. He had been podcasting for a long time, doing his ref and rants and stuff. And me and him became friends years and years ago. And he was doing his podcast stuff, and he approached me. He was like, "Do you want to start talking about the local independent wrestling?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then the first thing we did when Backbreaker Media came, when everything branded started as Backbreaker, when it was started as Edmonton Sports Podcast Network, was an interview I did with Chris Parrish, and that was the first ever show we did that we put out under the Edmonton SPN banner, as we like to call it, just so we didn't get sued. And yeah, that was and then we started doing our Chop Talks where we did like a lot of just me, Mike, and a couple of our friends that were at a wrestling show, just talking about what we just watched, going over it, and then we left. We had this little handheld mic. I still have mine sitting in a dish over on my coffee table, still sitting there, still got it, just don't have much use for it anymore. But yeah, that was Mike is what got me into it. I was always interested in it, but I never kind of knew my way in. But Mike was my way into doing that, and then it all kind of just developed from there. And Mike's the one that put me together with Melball. We were at a Beercade event, and we did a pre-show from the thing, and he had me and Melball preview Forbidden Door together, and that's where it all kind of started for me and her. And then we just realized, hey, we could be a good partnership talking Japanese wrestling because we both loved it. And it all went from there. And I just want to grow my channel, keep contributing to OLE. we partnered up also for the audio from mine and Melba stuff with the newly crowned A Plus Productions. Our audio for all of our shows are going there. The guys, former BAM Weekly, a couple of the guys that used to be on SNME Radio, we're going to be working with them. So I just want to try and get our love of stuff out to more people and just talk to more people about it. And I want to start interviewing people. I had a really fun time interviewing Cam. That's another aspiration going forward that I want to do. And I know Melba's got some stuff in the works she wants to do going forward with the channel too. So, yeah.
Well, talking of Melba, I asked her to send in what she felt about you and the question. By God, has she made my life hard with the longest words known to man she's put in a sentence. But the first words that she sent me were, I said to her, is there anything you would like to say and questions to Andre? And the first word she put was, oh man, do I ever. So, so I'm going to go off with what she would like to say about you first, and then we will get into the question. She has put, he has been one of the strongest foundations for me going in and coming out of one of the blackest and darkest times of my life, challenging me to rise above adversity and live my life with the carefree nature he has himself. His constant drive and organisation has been the fundamental driving force behind Andre and Melba's Wrestling Talk, and his constant and consistent hard work and dedication to the show in absolutely everything he does. He is one of my nearest and dearest friends with a heart as big as his damn mouth, which he uses to razz everyone who he truly cares about. This man is like a brother from another mother to me and many others who have the privilege of calling him a friend. I've had the privilege of watching him grow into such a confident and even more outgoing man who's passionate for professional wrestling, Marvel, and Pokemon is evident and extensive. Knowing so much about every aspect of his hobbies and interests. That is exactly what Melba has to say about you. Lovely words there from Melba. Absolutely lovely. She's done 2 questions, a bit like Ed, being very selfish here today. But the first question she has for you is, who is your biggest inspiration to get into commentary and announcing? Once you were there, who motivated you to keep going, and how has it impacted your view on the local wrestling scene? That's the first part. I'll go to the second part in a minute.
So, like, I'd say commentary and announcing, right? Is what you're saying? I just cut out and ring it for a second there. Yeah. Well, I got started just by doing ring crew with RCW, and Mike was doing it before me, and then there's a dude named Andre that started doing ring announcing at RCW, and he was less than good. Let's just say that at least in my opinion, and I got to take over from him, and I just always wanted to be involved in professional wrestling, but I knew taking a bump and doing that shit was not my forte. I was not going to be physical, and I thought ring announcing would be a lot of fun, and I just got myself involved. Like, I watched for years, What About Ivan do it live here in the local independent wrestling scene, and I was like, I always tried to emulate him as best I could when I was in there doing it, because I always thought he was so good at it. Just not all the best announcers that I've watched over the years, and just tried to do the best version of all of them I could do. I got lucky with Mike, got to do actual like play-by-play commentary for a little while with Monster Pro Wrestling, and that was just more fun because I love just talking about professional wrestling. So that was my big reason getting in, is that I wanted to be involved in wrestling, but I knew I couldn't take I didn't want to take bumps.
So we've got a couple of comments here before we move on, and that was one from our local establishment saying not a dry height in the house, and Bobby loved the way that Melba wrote about you. The second question here seems a bit personal, so I'm going to read it the way that she wrote it. And she put, also, he's an amazing friend, Brian, who sadly lost over COVID. Please ask him about Ringside Mafia and what his time with that group meant to him.
Oh, dude, yeah. My buddy Brian, we lost him in 2021. I met him, 2008, 2009. It was about a year after I started going to the local independent wrestling scene. I was hanging out with some people, and then I kind of just I didn't really feel hanging out with them. And I ended up just randomly sitting with Brian in our friends Delmer and Troy at a show at the Century Casino, and yeah, it became one of the best friendships I had. We for years we'd always sit, we would at the front row at every show we were at, and then we decided just to make T-shirts because we kind of had formed a little crew of our own, and we had our T-shirts called the Front Row Mafia, and that friendship with him, with Delmer, with Troy, with Ryan, Amanda. That's how I became friends with Andreas, another one who still hangs with the wrestling shows to this day. He's one of my best friends in the world. I shit on him every day, but he's one of my best friends in the world. But that crew meant so much to me because, again, I don't think I would have stayed an indie wrestling fan as hardcore as I did if I didn't have the friends I had around me going to every show together, taking road trips to Calgary, to Red Deer, to go see all these random events, watching Brian get hit with barricades, get hit with ladders, get hit with chairs. Jesus, I remember Jinder Mahal kicking a ladder out of the ring at us in between his two stints in WWE and hitting us both in the knees with a ladder. I miss that man every day. I got a picture of him sitting on my shelf, thanks to our friend Denise Carter. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't remember that man because he was one of my best friends in this world. And that crew, that team, I don't really. Me and Andre are still keeping it strong, going to the shows. Delmer doesn't come out much anymore, but that team, that crew, I miss them. I miss having that group so much every day. But I'm happy with the crew I'm with now. Mel, Kat, Andreas, Nathan, just my friends, and Eric, Adam, like everybody that comes to these shows with us and just sits with us, and it makes me so happy. Jason, I gotta shout out Jason freaking Rutledge, he's become one of my closest friends at wrestling shows over these last couple of years. But that crew meant so much to me. But the crew I have now, the Horde, means so much to me because they're some of my best friends in this world that I'm happy to have them as my best friends now, the Horde. But I miss the Front Row Mafia. I miss Ryan and Amanda for sure, but I miss Brian more than anything because not a day goes by I don't remember that man. But thank you, and I thank the Horde for keeping my love of going to wrestling with people strong.
Well, lovely words, and that was a very nice question there. And what we're going to do is we're going to give Andre a couple minutes to gather himself. And what we're going to do is we're going to play what's going on this week with OLE. We did it at the start of the show, but we're going to do the weekly calendar here. So Andre can have a couple of minutes to sort of get himself going, and we can start again. So enjoy the next minute. Right, ready, Andre? We got a minute to get ourselves ready.
Hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks radiance, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, yeah, you're burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my hand again.
Before we go on, I have to say one thing to Mel Ball's very emotional point. If it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have dealt with these last couple of years. She has been like Astrid said, Mel Ball's her rock. Mel Ball's my rock. She's so my mom. She's my emotional rock and helps me through so many things. So thank you, Mel Ball.
Talking of Mel Ball, then this Saturday coming up, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern, will be me sitting down with Mel Ball, and yes, I will be going round the OLE family to get their revenge on Mel Ball or ask the emotional questions that they would like to ask. But no, thank you ever so much, Mel Ball. Thank you, Andre, for that. I've got a big fucking spider in my room. Anyway, enough about me nearly crying over a spider that nearly.
You and Mel Ball with your fear of spiders. I don't get it.
Can't stand them. Absolutely hate them. Right, we're going to do for one final round here today, and this is a little bit of fun. To finish
All right,
off
let's
here
do it.
today, we've got a quick fire round. I'm going to name wrestlers, OLE members, and companies in the wrestling or life, and I want one word, or if you're Astrid, about four, that I would like answers to. I hope you're listening to this because it was one word answers, and you can take as long as you want to answer them within reason. But I'm going to leave it up to you. So, if you're ready, we're going to play the music again because I know that there was a point of that I had to turn the music off because it just did not go with what was happening. Also, by the way, if you are watching this and you want to understand why I've got this, you need to go and subscribe to my Mark Talks Wrestling, because in about 4 weeks, 5 weeks time, 6 weeks time, you will be hearing this. Hold on. I've got to play it louder. Hold on. The reason for that is there is a WWE draft coming very soon, so make sure you check that out. Right, so here we go. I'm going to turn the music down because I've just realised I've whacked it full volume, unless you want to do it like this.
No, I don't think I'll be able to hear you.
I just realised this. I've turned it down now. So, the first question we have for you is this. Will Ospreay, one word answer.
Inspiring.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Technical genius.
You've done an Astrid. You've done an Astrid. I'm calling it. You've done an Astrid from now on. I'm calling it that. Julia.
A phenom.
Oh. Do you know what? I like that word. It tickles you, doesn't it? That word. Mm-hmm. This is going to sound really disgusting, and I don't want it to come off as. It just tickles you in the right places, doesn't it? It makes you go.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
She's an absolute phenom, man, and she's going to kill it in NXT.
And WWE very, very quickly. Apparently, we'll get into that very soon. Io Sky, or as she was called, Io Shirai for a long time.
Ooh. A swan. The Swan.
Ooh, look at you! I don't know why I went so high pitched then, but we're going with it. We've got Lauren Goodnight. The reason I pick her name, because I want to see what people say about her, other than me calling her a dick all the time.
Charming.
That is not the right word, but I'll let you have it.
I find her an absolute charming person to have a conversation with. I love her to death.
That means you don't know her. No, Lauren, if you watch this, I do love you, really. The next one, I know that I'm going to get messages about 4 o'clock in the morning for what I've said. My time, not your time. For what I've said. Right, Astrid.
Amazing.
Ed.
Oh, I'm trying not to be mean, but I'm trying to find the right word for what I want to say, because it's not mean in any way. He's a laugh. A laugh. Yeah, sorry, I gotta use a laugh. He's a laugh.
Okay, so if anyone's watching at home and there's anyone that you would like to ask Andre as well at the same time, please put them in the comments as well. Type away, do whatever you want. We've had a couple here. I've been told to be nice, probably about Lauren Goodnight, but she knows I love her, so it's fine. The next one we've got here.
Oh. Class.
From Bobby. Okay.
Class.
The next one we've got is Bobby Money Munson.
Oh. Godfather.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. Yeah.
You know why I say it.
Yeah, I get that. And the last, not the last one of the OLE family, because I've left one of them to last. the best to last, they say. Melbourne.
Oh. I gotta go with 2 words on this one. My heart.
Lovely. WWE.
Roller coaster.
Yeah. Yes. 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 New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh. Relaxation.
Okay. Stardom.
Delayed.
Okay. Marigold.
Oh, that sounds tough. Throwback.
Okay. AEW.
I need to explain that. It's
Go
a
on.
throwback to the earlier days of Stardom, is what that is. That is why I say that word.
Okay. AEW. I can see the wheels turning, and you whether debating whether to say what you want to say. I can see it in your face.
New Japan Light. That's the best. I can't. That's the nicest way I can be right now. How I feel about AEW.
Okay, so I got 2 more. I don't know whether I've got 3 more, but there is a reason for one of them. TNA. Do you watch TNA?
I watch it on and off now. I used to be a big fan. So TNA. Give me 3. I'm pulling out. Annoying little brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are in professional wrestling.
MLW. The reason I picked that one was because we watched one together. That was interesting.
Oh, aggravating.
Yes. Still can't get over finding out the baby, the baby mama's father, whatever it was. That is.
It was nobody.
No, it was the craziest, dumbest shit I've ever watched. NXT.
Oh.
I've just seen Bobby's comment about MLW. Declining.
Hope. I'm gonna say with NXT is Hope.
Okay. There's 2 more here. Family.
Everything.
And then the last one, and the best one, me.
Oh, charming.
Stop it, you little charmer, you. But that is it. That is going to be the end. Andre, how have you felt during this? Everything? Did you enjoy your experience coming on with me here today? Was it everything you were hoping for?
Yeah, I had a great time, man. Just love talking. I don't usually like talking about myself too much, but I enjoy talking about myself with you. I enjoy talking with you, and I just enjoy hearing from all the people in the chat and all my friends at OLE in what they've said about me and making me embarrassed on the screen. Thank you guys very much.
Well, I'm really glad you had a great time, and I just want to let everyone know that if you're watching this on replay, please put a like down in the comments down below, and put in your comments in there as well. If there's any questions that you would like to ask anything afterwards, if there's anything that you want to know, then please put it down right in the comments, and we will get to them as soon as we can. But before we leave you, I'm going to hand you over now to Andre, who is going to explain to everyone what he's got coming up this week, exactly what he's got. I've got 2 things here, and I'm hoping, is this the right one?
That one is the right one. Yes.
I'm a genius.
I literally went to the banners to make sure I clicked the right one, but you clicked the right one. So
I screwed up at the beginning, but I got better at the end. So explain everyone what you got coming up and what you're doing in the future.
So this week, on my channel, or you can find, if you want to talk to me on the X at that X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at that Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at that Canada Dude, Facebook Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You are my YouTube page that I do with my girl Melball. YouTube.com/ at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. We just dropped our G1 day 11, 12, and 13 coverage. We have the Chop Talk coming out this week from the Top Talent Show that we were at this past Friday. We have more G1 coverage coming out. We're going to try to have some Stardom coverage of the first couple of days of the 5-Star Grand Prix coming out. Oh, so much coming. We got some Mari Gold from so far back, but I don't know if when we're going to be able to get to that because it's just so much going on. And then this week, you'll find me this Wednesday night. I'll be live here on OLE again with my boy, my other tag team partner, All Ed. We're going to be talking Marvel talk. We're going to be finally, after weeks of delay because of me either being not feeling well or just having other topics to talk about, we're talking Ant-Man. We're gonna finally hit that MCU rebound and do Ant-Man, which is the movie, one of those ones that I it's like Iron Man. I can just turn it on and watch it at any point. It's just so good. So we're gonna talk about that, and then on Friday I'll be back here live at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern for the Japanese wrestling update.
Perfecto. And for me, I'm here. You'll see me on Mark Talks Wrestling, Mark Talks Gaming, Mark Talks Football. I've got to remember where I am on everything because I've done a bunch of recordings today before this, so I need to remember what's on YouTube and what I've just recorded. So this week on Mark Talks Football, it is the final week in Japan. We are the manager of Rosio Karamoto. They have never been in the first division of the J1 League in Japan. We got them promoted. This is the final week to see if we can be crowned champions of one of the biggest league in Asian football before we leave to go to America. Now, I know the team we're moving to. I will give you a hint. We have signed a contract, and there is a star that is one of the presidents of that company. So I will let you go and think about that. God, he's a good-looking man. Another hint. And we will be going there. Mark Talks Wrestling. We have got WWE 2K24. This week is the build to Double or Nothing that will be coming out next week. The build this week, I have suspended all WWE talent that participated in the Royal Rumble and Royal Rumble matches that lost, because they put the brand to shame. So they will not be. I have signed a free agent today. The episode is out already, and you know him very well. He has a talk show on ESPN. Everyone was looking forward to his DLC drop-in. And he is now trying to fight, I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, the new World Heavyweight Champion that beats Gunther at... Yeah, exactly. A punter that beats. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Gunther at the Royal Rumble. Dominic Mysterio is my world champion.
Yes.
God help us all. So that is coming. And on Mark Talks Gaming, we are carrying on with GTA 5 replaying the story mode in 2024, and we've got F1 Manager 24 out. I lost my shit the last episode that was out. I have now, completely lost it. So we are carrying on with that, so make sure you go and check that out as well. But that is going to end this. I hope you guys, we got a few comments here before we leave. Great interview, guys. Thank you, Bobby, for being here. Lol, I think I know. Yeah, you probably will, but I don't want any heat for saying it. There's also a lot of dolphins around that area as well. So, Have you seen that TikTok of the guy that goes, "Oh, I want to do something. Oh, we shouldn't be doing that," and then he goes, does the old side eye, and he goes like that to the camera. It's that. We have got the job. I have started it, and by the way, you are going to love what has happened in that place. You will see. But with that, with love, with care. My name's been Mark. This has been Andre, the GOAT of Japanese professional wrestling. The man, the myth, the legend, the man that brings every shame to every man that is in existence. They look at Andre and they go, I want to be like Andre. And that's exactly what I do. And with that, and he's trying to hide his embarrassment because he knows it's fucking true. And that is with me, with love, with care. My name's been Mark. This has been Andre, and we will see you guys Saturday, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We've got Melbourne. Peace.